You may wonder, is such a feat possible? I assure you, not only is it possible, but it is your birthright. For you see, the power to manifest your desires has always resided within you. It is not something to be acquired, but rather something to be remembered and awakened. Let us begin by understanding the fundamental principle upon which this science rests. Your world, your reality, is nothing more than an outward projection of your inner state of consciousness. Every circumstance, every person, every event in your life is a reflection of your beliefs, assumptions, and mental attitudes. This is the first and most crucial realization on your path to mastery. Imagine, if you will, that your mind is a garden. Your thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions are the seeds you plant in this garden. The life you're experiencing right now is the harvest of those seeds. If you're dissatisfied with your current harvest, the solution is not to wrestle with the fruit, but to change the seed. This is where many seekers falter. They attempt to change their world by manipulating external circumstances, unaware that the outer world is but a shadow of their inner world. They chase after effects, ignorant of the cause that lies within their own consciousness. But you, my dear friends, are here today to transcend this limited understanding. You are here to become conscious creators, masters of your reality. And the key to this mastery lies in one simple yet profound practice, the art of assumption. To assume means to think from the end. It means to inhabit the state of your wish fulfilled, not as a future possibility, but as a present fact. This is the secret that has been hidden in plain sight throughout the ages. It is the pearl of great price, the philosopher's stone that transmutes the lead of current circumstances into the gold of desired realities. Now, you might ask, how do I assume? How do I think from the end? The answer lies in your God-given gift of imagination. Your imagination is the very workshop wherein you can construct the inner conversations and mental seeds that persisted in will harden into fact. Let me illustrate this with a simple exercise. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself in a scene that would imply the fulfillment of your desire. If your desire is for financial abundance, see yourself looking at a bank statement with a balance that thrills you. Feel the emotions that would accompany such a sight. Hear the words you would speak, the conversations you would have if this were your reality right now. This, my friends, is the art of assumption in action. You are thinking from the end, embodying the state of your wish fulfilled. And here's the miraculous truth. To the extent that you can make this imaginal act feel natural and real to you, to that extent will it objectify itself in your outer world. But remember, this is not mere daydreaming or wishful thinking. This is a deliberate, conscious direction of your imagination. It is an act of faith, for faith is nothing more than loyalty to your unseen assumption. And it is through faith that the invisible becomes visible, that the imaginable becomes actual. Now you might wonder, why 48 hours? Can I truly master this science in such a short time? The answer lies in the nature of consciousness itself. You see, consciousness is the only reality. All things exist within it. And it takes no time for consciousness to assume a new state. The moment you successfully embody a new state in your imagination, the seed is planted. The 48 hours we speak of is not for the planting, but for the cultivation of that seed. In these 48 hours, you will learn to persist in your new assumption, regardless of the evidence of your senses. For the outer world, bound as it is by the law of time and space, may take a while to reflect your inner change. But make no mistake, once the seed is planted and nurtured, its manifestation is inevitable. This brings us to another crucial aspect of our science, the law of reversibility. Just as heat produces motion, motion can produce heat. Similarly, while feeling creates circumstance, circumstance can create feeling. This is why it's vital to guard your mental diet, to be selective about the thoughts and assumptions you entertain. In these 48 hours, you will learn to become aware of your mental conversations, those incessant inner dialogues that shape your world. You will learn to consciously choose thoughts and inner conversations that align with your desired state. For it is these mental conversations persisted in that will reshape your world. Let me share with you a powerful technique to aid you in this practice. I call it revision. At the end of each day, before you sleep, review the events of your day. But here's the key: revise any event that was not to your liking. See it unfold in your imagination exactly as you would have wished it to be. Feel the satisfaction, the joy, the fulfillment of experiencing it in this revised manner. This practice serves two purposes. First, it trains your mind to focus on the desired state rather than the current reality. Second, it demonstrates your power as a conscious creator. For in the world of imagination, there is no limitation. You can revise any event, any circumstance exactly as you desire it to be. As you engage in this practice over the next 48 hours, you will begin to feel a shift in your consciousness. You will start to experience what I call the naturalness of your desired state. This is a crucial milestone on your journey to mastery. For when your desired state feels more natural to you than your current reality, its manifestation is at hand. Now let us delve deeper into the nature of consciousness and its relation to the world of manifestation. Consciousness, my dear friends, is not confined to the boundaries of your physical form. It is infinite, eternal, and all-encompassing. Your individual consciousness is but a focal point of this universal consciousness, much like a wave is a focal point of the vast ocean. Understanding this truth is crucial to mastering the science of manifestation. For it means that all things, all possibilities, all potential realities already exist within your consciousness. You are not creating something new when you manifest your desires. Rather, you are selecting and embodying a state that already exists within the infinite sea of consciousness. This understanding liberates you from the limitations of time and space. It frees you from the belief that your desires are out there somewhere, waiting to be attained. Instead, you realize that they are already within you, waiting to be assumed and expressed. In these 48 hours, you will learn to navigate this infinite sea of consciousness with precision and purpose. You will discover that shifting from one state to another is as simple and natural as moving from one room to another in your home. All it requires is your decision and your assumption. But here, my friends, we must address a common pitfall on the path to mastery. Many seekers, upon learning of their creative power, fall into the trap of trying to manipulate specific events or people. They attempt to use their imagination to control the how of their manifestation. This is a mistake, and it often leads to frustration and disappointment. Remember, the outer world is a reflection of your inner state. When you assume the state of your wish fulfilled, where you embody the consciousness of already being, doing, or having what you desire, the outer world must rearrange itself to match this new state. But the manner in which it does so is not your concern. Your role is to assume the state of the wish fulfilled and to persist in that assumption. The means and methods by which your desire will manifest are the domain of that infinite intelligence that orchestrates the universe. Trust in this intelligence. Have faith that once you have planted the seed in consciousness, it will grow and bear fruit in its own perfect way in time. This brings us to another crucial aspect of our science: detachment. Detachment does not mean indifference. Rather, it means to be so confident in the reality of your assumption that you can relax and allow it to unfold naturally. It means to live from the state of your wish fulfilled without anxiety or desperation about its manifestation in the outer world. In these 48 hours, you will cultivate this art of detachment. You will learn to rest in the assurance that what you have assumed in consciousness must objectify itself in your world. This assurance, this knowing, is the mark of a true master of manifestation. Now let us turn our attention to a powerful tool in our manifestation toolkit, the use of affirmations. Affirmations, when used correctly, can be a potent means of reshaping your subconscious beliefs and assumptions. However, the key lies in understanding the true nature of effective affirmations. An affirmation is not merely a positive statement repeated mechanically. It is a statement of truths spoken from the state of your wish fulfilled. When you affirm, you are not trying to convince yourself of something. Rather, you are declaring a truth that you have already accepted in consciousness. For example, if your desire is for financial abundance, a powerful affirmation might be, I am so grateful now that I am financially free. As you speak these words, feel the relief, the joy, the sense of security that would accompany this state. See yourself living this truth. Hear the inner conversations you would have if this were your reality right now. In these 48 hours, you will learn to craft and use affirmations that resonate with your desired state. You will discover how to infuse these affirmations with feeling and conviction, transforming them from mere words into powerful seeds of manifestation. But remember, the power of your affirmations lies not in the words themselves, but in the state of consciousness from which they are spoken. This is why feeling is the secret. The feeling of the wish fulfilled, embodied and expressed through your affirmations, is the catalyst that brings your desires into manifestation. As we progress deeper into our 48-hour mastery journey, let us explore the concept of living in the end. This phrase, living in the end, encapsulates the essence of our science of manifestation. It means to live, think, and act from the consciousness of already being the person you desire to be, of already having what you wish to have. Living in the end is not about pretending or play acting. It is about fully embodying the state of your wish, fulfilled in your imagination, to the point where it feels more real and more natural to you than your current circumstances. This is the state from which miracles spring forth, where the seeming impossible becomes possible. In these 48 hours, you will practice living in the end with unwavering focus and devotion. You will learn to maintain this state regardless of the evidence of your senses. For remember, your senses only show you the effects of past thoughts and assumptions. They cannot show you the new cause you are setting in motion through present assumption. This practice of living in the end will require vigilance and persistence. You must guard your thoughts, your inner conversations, and your mental diet with the same care and attention that you would give to any valuable possession. For indeed, your state of consciousness is your most valuable possession, the very substance from which your world is shaped. As you persist in living from the end, you may encounter what seems like opposition or contradiction in your outer world. This is perfectly natural and to be expected. The outer world, bound as it is by time and space, may take a while to fully reflect your new inner state. But do not be discouraged by this seeming lag. Instead, see it as an opportunity to strengthen your faith, to deepen your conviction in the reality of your assumption. Remember, the outer world is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of your inner state. As you maintain your new state of consciousness, this shadow must by immutable law reshape itself to match the new inner reality. Your task is not to wrestle with the shadow, but to be steadfast in your new assumption. Now let us delve into a powerful technique that will aid you in maintaining your desired state. The use of inner conversations. Your inner conversations are the dialogues you have with yourself and with others in your imagination. These conversations are incredibly potent, for they are direct communications with your subconscious mind. In these 48 hours, you will learn to consciously craft and engage in inner conversations that align with your desired state. If your desire is for a loving relationship, for example, you might imagine hearing a close friend congratulate you on your wonderful partnership. Feel the joy and gratitude as you respond, confirming the reality of this loving relationship in your life. These inner conversations, when imbued with feeling and repeated with consistency, become a powerful force in reshaping your subconscious beliefs and assumptions. And as your subconscious beliefs change, your outer world must change to match them. But remember, the key to effective inner conversations lies in their naturalness. They should not feel forced or artificial. Instead, they should flow as easily and naturally as any actual conversation you might have. This naturalness is a sign that your new assumption is taking root in your subconscious mind. As we approach the midpoint of our 48-hour journey to mastery, let us address a question that often arises: what about action? Do I simply imagine and affirm, or must I also act in the physical world? This is a crucial point, and one that is often misunderstood. Action, my dear friends, is indeed a vital part of the manifestation process, but it is not action as the world commonly understands it. It is not about forcing or struggling or manipulating external circumstances. Rather, it is about inspired action, action that flows naturally from your new state of consciousness. When you successfully assume the state of your wish fulfilled, when you truly live in the end, you will find yourself naturally inspired to take actions that align with this new state. These actions will not feel like effort or struggle. Instead, they will feel natural, even inevitable, as if you are simply playing the part that has been assigned to you. In these 48 hours, you will learn to recognize and follow these inspired actions. You will discover that as you live from the state of your wish fulfilled, opportunities and circumstances will present themselves that perfectly align with your desire. Your role is simply to step into these opportunities, to play your part in the unfolding drama of your manifestation. This is the true meaning of the biblical injunction to stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. It does not mean to be passive or inactive. Rather, it means to be still in your assumption, to be unwavering in your faith, and from this state of stillness to watch as the path to your desire naturally unfolds before you. Now let us turn our attention to a powerful tool that will accelerate your mastery of this science, the practice of acting as if. This technique is a natural extension of living in the end, that it brings your assumption into your physical world in a tangible way. To act as if means to behave in your outer world as you would if your desire were already a reality. If your desire is for a successful career, for example, you would carry yourself with the confidence and poise of a successful person. You would make decisions and interact with others from the mindset of someone who has already achieved the success you desire. In these 48 hours, you will practice acting as if with dedication and consistency. You will discover that as you align your outer behavior with your inner assumption, you create a powerful resonance that accelerates the manifestation of your desire. But remember, acting as is not about pretending or deceiving others. It is about aligning your outer expression with your inner truth, the truth you have accepted in consciousness. It is about bringing your entire being, your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions into harmony with the state of your wish fulfilled. As we delve deeper into our exploration of the science of manifestation, let us address a concept that is often misunderstood, the role of desire itself. Many spiritual teachings advise against desire, seeing it as a source of suffering or attachment. But in our science, desire plays a crucial and positive role. Desire, my dear friends, is the voice of God within you. It is the creative impulse of the universe seeking expression through you. Your desires are not random or meaningless. They are calls from your higher self, invitations to grow, to expand, to more fully express your divine nature. In these 48 hours, you will learn to honor your desires, to see them as sacred messages from your deeper self. You will discover that as you align with your true desires, as you assume the state of their fulfillment, you are not being selfish or materialistic. Rather, you are fulfilling your divine purpose, expressing more of your true nature, and in doing so, enriching the world around you. But here, we must make an important distinction. There is a difference between pure desire and neediness or desperation. Pure desire comes from a place of fullness, of knowing that you are already complete and whole. Neediness, on the other hand, comes from a place of lack, of feeling incomplete without the object of your desire. In our science of manifestation, we work with pure desire. We assume the state of our wish fulfilled not because we need it to be happy or complete, but because it is a natural expression of who we truly are. This distinction is crucial, for manifestation born of neediness often brings with it new problems and dissatisfactions, while manifestation born of pure desire brings genuine fulfillment and joy. As we enter the final stretch of our 48-hour journey to mastery, let us explore a concept ties together everything we have discussed, the law of assumption. This law states that whatever you assume to be true, whatever state you occupy in consciousness, must express itself in your outer world. The law of assumption is not something external to you. It is not a force that you must appease or manipulate. Rather, it is the very nature of consciousness itself. It is the mechanism by which the formless realm of pure potential takes on form and expression in the physical world. In these final hours of our journey, you will deepen your understanding and application of this law. You will discover that every moment of your life, you are making assumptions. These assumptions, whether conscious or unconscious, are shaping your reality. By becoming aware of your assumptions and consciously choosing those that align with your desires, you become a deliberate creator of your life experience. As we approach the culmination of our 48-hour mastery, I want to emphasize a crucial point: persistence. The power of your assumption lies not in making it once, but in maintaining it consistently. There may be times when your outer world seems to contradict your inner assumption. In these moments, your persistence is key. Hold fast to your assumption, knowing that the outer world must eventually conform to your inner state. Remember, my dear friends, that you are not alone in this journey. You are supported by the very fabric of the universe, by the infinite intelligence that pervades all things. As you master this science of manifestation, you align yourself more fully with this intelligence. You become a conscious co-creator with the divine, expressing more of your true nature and potential. In closing, I want to remind you that what we have explored in these 48 hours is not mere theory or philosophy. It is a practical science, a method that has been proven time and again by those who have applied it with understanding and persistence. You now hold in your hands the key to shaping your reality, to manifesting your deepest desires and highest aspirations. Go forth now and apply what you have learned. Live from the state of your wish fulfilled. Persist in your assumptions. Act from the consciousness of already being the person you desire to be. And watch in awe as your world transforms to match your inner state. For you are the operant power, the conscious creator of your life experience. In realizing this truth and living from it, you step into your true power and fulfill your highest destiny.
Just begin by understanding a fundamental truth. Your feelings are not a reaction to the world around you, but rather they are the cause of the world you experience. This may sound strange to those of you who have been taught that your emotions are simply responses to external events. But I tell you, it is the other way around. Your emotions, your inner states, are the very substance from which your external reality is formed. Think of it this way. The world you see around you is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of your inner state of being. Just as a projector casts images onto a screen, your consciousness projects your inner states onto the screen of space and time. And just as changing the film in a projector changes the images on the screen, changing your inner state changes the world you experience. Now, you might be thinking, but Neville, surely you can't deny the reality of the challenges I'm facing. How can I feel good when I've lost my job? Or when I'm facing a serious illness? Or when my relationships are in turmoil? And to this I ask you to deny the existence of your current circumstances. I ask you to deny their power over your inner state. You see, your circumstances, no matter how dire they may seem, have no inherent power to make you feel anything. Your feelings are not determined by what happens to you, but by your interpretation of what happens. And this interpretation, this meaning you give to events, is entirely within your control. Let me give you an example to illustrate this point. Imagine two people who have just lost their jobs. One falls into despair, feeling hopeless and defeated. The other feels excited, seeing this as an opportunity for a new beginning, a chance to pursue a long-held dream. Same external event, vastly different emotional responses. What makes the difference? It's not the event itself, but the meaning each person assigns to it. Now, you might be thinking, but surely some events are inherently negative. Surely some circumstances are objectively bad. And to this I say, there is no objective reality outside of your consciousness. What you call reality is simply a reflection of your assumptions, your beliefs, your habitual thought patterns. This is not to say that challenging circumstances don't exist. They do. But their power to affect your emotional state is entirely dependent on your choice to give them that power. You always have the ability to choose your response, to choose how you will feel regardless of external conditions. But why is this so important? Why should you strive to feel good when everything seems to be going wrong? The answer lies in the creative power of your emotions. Your feelings are not just responses to your world. They are the very substance from which your world is created. When you consistently feel good, when you maintain a positive emotional state, regardless of external circumstances, you are aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. You're tuning your consciousness to the frequency of your desires, rather than the frequency of your current circumstances. Think of it like this. Your emotions are like a radio tuner. When you feel negative emotions, fear, anxiety, despair, you're tuning into the frequency of lack, of limitation, of things going wrong. But when you choose to feel good, to feel positive emotions regardless of circumstances, you're tuning into the frequency of abundance, of possibility, of things going right. And here's the key. The universe can only give you more of what you're tuned into. If you're tuned into the frequency of lack and limitation, that's what you'll continue to experience. But if you tune into the frequency of abundance and possibility, that's what will begin to manifest in your life. This is why it's so crucial to remember to feel good, especially when everything else seems to be going wrong. Because in those moments, when it's most challenging to feel good, that's when it's most important. That's when you have the greatest opportunity to shift your reality. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, isn't this just positive thinking? Isn't this just putting on a happy face and pretending everything is fine when it's not? And to this I say, this is not about pretending or faking positive emotions. This is about understanding the true nature of reality and your role as a creator. You see, when you truly understand that your inner state is the cause, not the effect of your external reality, feeling good becomes the most logical, the most practical thing you can do. It's not about ignoring problems or pretending they don't exist. It's about recognizing that the solution to any problem, the path to any desire. Let me give you another example to illustrate this point. Imagine you're in a dark room fumbling around. trying to find the light switch. The longer you fumble in the dark, the more frustrated you become. The more things you bump into, the more chaos you create. But the moment you find the switch and turn on the light, everything changes. Suddenly, you can see clearly. You can navigate easily. You can put everything in order. Your emotional state is like that light switch. When you're in a negative emotional state, you're fumbling in the dark. You can't see solutions. You can't find opportunities. You create more chaos and confusion. But when you shift to a positive emotional state, when you remember to feel good, it's like turning on the light. Suddenly you can see clearly. Solutions become apparent. Opportunities reveal themselves. Order replaces chaos. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, but Neville, how can I possibly feel good when I'm in the midst of real problems, real challenges? And this is a valid question. It's easy to feel good when everything is going well. The real test, the real opportunity for growth and transformation comes when you can maintain a positive emotional state in the face of adversity. So how do you do this? How do you remember to feel good when everything else seems to be going wrong? The key lies in your imagination. Your imagination is the most powerful tool you possess. It is, in fact, the very workshop in which you create your reality. When circumstances seem dire, when problems seem insurmountable, that is the moment to turn to your imagination. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine a reality where your problems are solved, where your desires are fulfilled. Feel the relief, the joy, the excitement of that reality. Let those feelings fill your entire being. Now, some of you might be thinking, but isn't this just fantasy? Isn't this just escapism? And to this, I say, your imagination is not a place to escape reality. Your imagination is the very place where reality is created. You see, what you imagine with feeling, what you experience vividly in your mind's eye, is not separate from reality. It is reality in its nascent state. It is reality not yet manifested in the world of physical senses, but no less real for that. In fact, it is more real because it is the cause of which your physical reality is merely the. When you imagine a better reality, when you feel the emotions associated with that reality, you are not engaging in idle fantasy. You are engaging in the most powerful, the most practical act of creation. You are impressing upon your subconscious mind the reality you wish to experience. And your subconscious mind, which knows no difference between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced, begins immediately to bring about the conditions and circumstances that match your imagined reality. This is why it's so crucial to remember to feel good, especially when external circumstances seem to be at their worst. Because in those moments when you choose to feel good despite appearances, you are exercising your true power as a creator. You are asserting your dominion over your reality. Now let's address another common concern. Some of you might be thinking, but Neville, if I feel good when things are going wrong, aren't I just deluding myself? Aren't I ignoring reality? And to this I sigh. What is reality? Is it only what your physical senses show you at this moment? Or is it the infinite field of possibilities that exists in your imagination? You see, what you call reality is simply the outpicturing of past thoughts and feelings. It's the harvest of seeds you've planted in the past. But at any moment, you have the power to plant new seeds, to imagine and feel a new reality into existence. This doesn't mean you ignore your current circumstances or act irresponsibly. It means you acknowledge your present situation while simultaneously holding in your mind and heart the reality you wish to experience. You live in two worlds at once. The world of physical senses and the world of imagination. Knowing that the latter will eventually replace the former. Let me give you an example to illustrate this point. Suppose you're currently struggling financially. You wouldn't ignore your bills or pretend your debts don't exist. You would continue to manage your current finances responsibly. But at the same time, you would live from the state of financial abundance in your imagination. You would feel the relief of having all your debts paid. You would experience the joy of having more than enough money for all your needs and desires. You would feel the security of a abundant bank account. And you would carry these feelings with you throughout your day, even as you're dealing with your current financial situation. This is what it means to remember to feel good when everything else is going wrong. It's about holding two realities in your mind simultaneously while emotionally residing in the reality you desire to experience. Now, some of you might be wondering, but how long will it take for my imagined reality to manifest? How long do I need to maintain these good feelings before I see results? And to this, I say, time is a construct of the human mind. In the realm of pure consciousness, where all creation takes place, there is no time. Your desire is fulfilled the moment you assume it to be so. The time it takes to appear in your physical reality depends on many factors, including the naturalness of the desire, your ability to maintain your assumption, and the current conditions of your life. But here's the key. Don't concern yourself with the when or the how. Your job is simply to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and to live from that state. The universe will take care of the details. Trust the process. Know that what you have assumed must come to pass by universal law. Remember, creation is finished. All possible realities already exist. When you assume a new state, when you choose to feel good despite challenging circumstances, you're not creating something new. You're simply selecting a different reality from the infinite array of possibilities that already exist. You're tuning your consciousness to a different frequency, so to speak, and thus experiencing a different version of reality. This understanding should free you from anxiety and impatience. There's no need to worry about whether your desire will manifest. It must, for it already exists. Your only task is to align your consciousness with it through your assumption, through your choice to feel good regardless of external circumstances. Now let's talk about an aspect of this principle that many people overlook. When you truly understand that you always get what you want, that the universe is constantly responding to your assumptions and delivering experiences that match them, how can you not feel profound gratitude? Gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion. It's a powerful creative force. When you feel grateful, you're affirming that you already have what you desire. You're living from the state of fulfillment, of abundance, of your wish realized. And in doing so, you're aligning yourself even more powerfully with that reality. So cultivate an attitude of gratitude, especially when circumstances seem challenging. Be thankful not just for what you already have in your physical reality, but for what you've assumed in your imagination. Feel the gratitude of already being, doing, or having what you desire. This gratitude will transform your entire experience of life. You'll find yourself appreciating the present moment more fully, even as you're assuming a different state. You'll see the beauty and perfection in all things, recognizing them as expressions of the same divine consciousness that you are. Now, I want to address something that often comes up as people begin to apply these principles. They start to wonder, if feeling good is so important, what if I can't maintain positive emotions all the time? What if I have moments of doubt, fear, or negativity? My friends, it's important to understand that the goal is not to never experience negative emotions. Negative emotions are a natural part of the human experience. The goal is to not dwell in these negative states, to not let them define your overall emotional climate. Think of it like the weather. Just as there will always be some cloudy or rainy days, there will always be some moments of doubt or fear. But just as a few cloudy days don't define the overall climate, a few moments of negativity don't define your overall emotional state. The key is to not resist these negative emotions when they arise, but to acknowledge them, accept them, and then choose to shift back to a positive state. Remember, you always have the power to choose your emotional state, regardless of circumstances. One powerful way to shift your emotional state is through the use of affirmations. But not just any affirmations that you feel to be true. You see, the power of an affirmation lies not in the words themselves, but in the feeling behind the words. For example, if you're facing financial difficulties, simply repeating, "I am wealthy," might feel false and create inner conflict. Instead, you might affirm, "I am open to financial abundance," or "money flows to me easily and frequently." Choose affirmations that feel true to you, that create a sense of possibility and excitement when you say. Another powerful technique for maintaining a positive emotional state is visualization. Spend time each day visualizing your desired reality in vivid detail. See it, hear it, feel it, taste it, smell it. Make it as real as possible in your imagination. As you do this, pay attention to the feelings that arise. Let yourself fully experience the joy, the excitement, the relief of having your desire fulfilled. These feelings are the bridge between your current reality and your desired reality. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, what about action? Don't we need to do something to bring about the changes we desire? And to this I say, of course, action is important, but it's not the kind of action most people think of. You see, most people believe they need to take action to make things happen. They believe they need to struggle, to strive, to force things into being. But this kind of action often comes from a place of lack, of fear, of trying to fix something that's perceived as wrong. The kind of action I'm talking about is inspired action. It's action that flows naturally from your assumed state. When you're consistently feeling good, when you're living from the state of your wish fulfilled, you'll find yourself naturally taking actions that align with that state. These actions won't feel like struggle or effort. They'll feel natural, effortless, even joyful. You'll find opportunities presenting themselves to you. You'll have intuitive flashes of insight. You'll be in the right place at the right time. This is because when you're in alignment with your desire, when you're feeling good despite challenging circumstances, you're in harmony with the creative power of the universe. You're allowing that power to work through you, guiding your actions and orchestrating events in ways that you could never plan or force. Now let's address another common concern. Some of you might be thinking, but Neville, what about other people? What if my ability to feel good is dependent on how others treat me or what they do? And to this I say, no one and nothing outside of you has the power to determine your emotional state. You see, other people, like everything else in your reality, are simply playing the parts that you've assigned to them through your assumptions. If you assume that your happiness depends on others, then that will be your experience. But if you assume that your emotional state is entirely within your control, then that will be your reality. This doesn't mean you become indifferent to others or that you don't care about your relationships. It means you take responsibility for your own emotional state, regardless of how others behave. It means you choose to feel good, to maintain a positive emotional state, regardless of what others say or do. And here's the beautiful thing. When you do this, when you maintain your positive state, regardless of others' behavior, you'll find that others begin to reflect that state back to you. Remember, the outer world is always a reflection of your inner state. As you change, your experience of others will change too. Now let's talk about persistence. Remembering to feel good when everything seems to be going wrong is not always easy. It requires persistence, practice, and patience. There will be times when you slip back into old patterns of thought and emotion. There will be times when circumstances seem so challenging that it feels impossible to maintain a positive state. It's not about being perfect. It's about consistently returning to your desired state, no matter how many times you slip. It's about making the choice again and again to feel good despite appearances. Think of it like learning to play a musical instrument. At first it feels awkward. You make mistakes. It doesn't sound good. But with persistent practice, it becomes more natural. The movements become fluid. The music begins to flow. And one day you realize you're playing beautifully without even thinking about it. The same is true with maintaining a positive emotional state. At first, it might feel forced or unnatural. You might find yourself slipping back into negative states frequently. But with persistent practice, it becomes easier. It becomes more natural. And eventually, it becomes your default state. Now I want to address something that often comes up as people begin to apply these principles. They start to worry about being selfish or uncaring if they focus on feeling good when others around them are struggling. But I assure you, maintaining your positive state is the most loving, the most compassionate thing you can do. You see, when you choose to feel good, regardless of circumstances, you become a beacon of light in a world that often seems dark. You become a living example of the power of consciousness to transform reality. You inspire others not through preaching or lecturing, but through your very being. Moreover, when you maintain a positive state, you're in a much better position to help others. Think about it. Can a drowning person save another drowning person? You need to be standing on solid ground. Or better yet, in a boat, to be able to throw a lifeline to someone who's struggling. In the same way, when you're mired in negative emotions, when you're overwhelmed by challenging circumstances, you're in no position to truly help others. But when you're grounded in a positive state, when you're living from the state of your wish fulfilled, you have the stability, the clarity, and the resources to make a real difference in others' lives. Remember, too, that your state of consciousness affects not just your own experience, but the collective consciousness of humanity. Every time you choose to feel good despite challenging circumstances, you're elevating the entire human family. You're adding your light to the sum of light, making it easier for others to find their way out of darkness. As we come to the close of our discussion, I want to leave you with this final thought. Remembering to feel good when everything else is going wrong is not just a technique for manifesting your desires. It's a way of life. It's a recognition of your true nature as a divine being, as a creator of your reality. When you consistently choose to feel good, regardless of external circumstances, you're declaring your independence from the world of effects. You're asserting your true power as a cause. You're aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe itself. This is the great secret, the great truth that all the mystics and sages throughout history have pointed to. Your emotional state, your inner world, is the source of your entire life experience. As you master your inner world, as you learn to consistently feel good despite appearances, you become the master of your destiny. My dear friends, I urge you, remember to feel good, especially when everything else seems to be going wrong. For in those moments when it's most challenging to maintain a positive state, that's when it's most crucial. That's when you have the greatest opportunity to transform your life and to contribute to transformation of our world. Go forth now, armed with this knowledge, and put it into practice. Choose to feel good no matter what. Live from the state of your wish fulfilled. And watch as the world around you transforms to match your inner state. For this is the true art of living, the true science of creation. This is your birthright as a divine being. Claim it, live it.
Now, when I speak of silence, I do not merely refer to the absence of sound, though that is certainly a part of it. No, the silence I speak of is far more profound, far more transformative. It is the silence of the mind, the stillness of the soul, the quiet that precedes all creation. In this world of constant noise and chatter, where every moment seems filled with the clamor of thoughts and the din of external stimuli, we have forgotten the power that lies in silence. We have forgotten that it is in the depths of silence that we connect with our true selves, with the divine within us, with the very source of all creation. Consider for a moment the words of Scripture, "Be still and know that I am God." These words are not a mere suggestion, my dear friends. They are a command, the key to unlocking the infinite potential that resides within each and every one of you. For it is in that stillness, in that silence, that we come to know our true nature, our oneness with the divine. You see, the real truth of being silent is that it is the gateway to all manifestation. It is the fertile soil in which the seeds of your desires take root and grow. It is the canvas upon which you paint the masterpiece of your life. In silence, you become the author of your own story, the creator of your own reality. But how, you may ask, can silence be so powerful? How can the absence of action, the cessation of thought, lead to the fulfillment of our deepest desires? The answer, my friends, lies in understanding the nature of reality itself. You see, the world you perceive around you with all its seeming solidity and permanence is but a shadow, a reflection of your inner state. Your consciousness, your awareness, is the substance from which all things are formed. And it is in the silence of your mind that you gain access to this substance, this creative power. When you enter into silence, when you still the incessant chatter of your thoughts, you enter into the realm of pure potential. In this state, unencumbered by doubts, fears, or limiting beliefs, you are free to impress upon your subconscious mind the image of your desired reality. And make no mistake, It is your subconscious mind that shapes your world, that molds the circumstances of your life to match your inner convictions. Let me share with you a fundamental truth. Imagination creates reality. Your imagination, when focused and imbued with the feeling of reality, becomes the blueprint from which your life is built, and it is in silence that your imagination is most potent, most alive. In the silence of your mind, you can see with perfect clarity the life you wish to lead. You can feel with every fiber of your being the joy, the success, the love that you desire. And in feeling it, in experiencing it within your imagination as a present fact, you set in motion the forces that will bring it into your physical reality. This, my dear friends, is the law of assumption. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, when you live from the end as if your desire were already a fact, you align yourself with the creative power of the universe. You become one with your desire, and in that state of oneness, manifestation becomes inevitable. But to reach this state, to truly embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you must first cultivate silence. You must learn to quiet the doubting voice of your rational mind, to still the turbulent waters of your emotions. For it is only in the calm, in the silence, that you can clearly hear the voice of your intuition, the whisper of your higher self. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, how can I possibly find silence in this noisy world? How can I quiet my mind when it's constantly bombarded with thoughts and worries? And to you, I say this: silence is not something you find, it is something you create. The practice of silence begins with a decision, a commitment to turn inward, to disconnect from the external world and reconnect with your inner being. It begins with setting aside time each day, even if only for a few minutes, to sit in quietude, to observe your thoughts without judgment, to simply be. As you cultivate this practice, you will find that silence becomes not just a state you enter into during meditation, but a constant companion, a refuge you can access at any moment. You will discover that even in the midst of chaos, you can tap into an inner wellspring of peace and clarity. But the real truth of being silent goes beyond mere relaxation or stress relief. It is a transformative practice that alters the very fabric of your being. In silence, you begin to peel away the layers of conditioning, the false beliefs and limitations that have been imposed upon you by society, by your upbringing, by your past experiences. You see, my friends, most of us go through life wearing masks, playing roles that have been assigned to us by others. We identify with our jobs, our possessions, our relationships, our social status. But these are not who we truly are. They are merely costumes we wear in the grand play of life. In silence, you begin to see through these illusions. You come face to face with your true self, your eternal, unchanging essence. And in that recognition, in that remembrance of who you really are, you reclaim your power as a creative being, as a co-creator with the divine. This is why silence is so threatening to the ego, to the false self that thrives on noise and distraction. The ego fears silence because in silence it ceases to exist. In the pure awareness that arises in deep silence, there is no ego, no separate self. There is only the I am, the eternal presence that is your true nature. And it is from this state of pure being, this state of I am, that all creation springs forth. When you silence the mind and enter into the I am state, you tap into the infinite potential of the universe. You become a clear channel through which the divine can express itself in the world. This, my dear friends, is the real power of silence. It is not passive, it is not weak. On the contrary, it is the most potent force in the universe. For in silence, you align yourself with the very source of all creation. You become one with the power that spins galaxies and orchestrates the dance of subatomic particles. Now let me be clear. The silence I speak of is not a retreat from the world. It is not about escaping your responsibilities or avoiding the challenges of life. No, the silence I speak of is a dynamic, creative force that empowers you to engage with life more fully, more authentically. When you cultivate inner silence, you develop a clarity of perception that allows you to see through the world. You begin to recognize that the external circumstances of your life are but reflections of your inner state. And in this recognition lies true freedom, true power. For if your world is a reflection of your consciousness, then by changing your consciousness, you change your world. This is the promise and the challenge of the practice of silence. It offers you the keys to the kingdom, but it also demands that you take full responsibility for your life, for your creations. In the silence of your mind, you will encounter your fears, your doubts, your unresolved emotions. You will come face to face with the parts of yourself that you have denied or repressed. This can be uncomfortable, even frightening at times. But remember, my friends, that these shadows only have power over you as long as they remain in darkness. By bringing them into the light of your awareness, by observing them without judgment in the silence of your mind, you begin to dissolve these limiting patterns. You free yourself from the unconscious programming that has been running your life on autopilot. This is why the practice of silence is so transformative. It is not just about manifesting your desires, though that is certainly a powerful aspect of it. It is about awakening to your true nature, about remembering who you really are beyond all the roles and identities you have assumed. In silence, you discover that you are not your thoughts, not your emotions, not your body. These are all aspects of your experience, but they are not your essence. Your essence is the awareness that perceives these things, the consciousness that underlies all experience. And when you realize this, when you truly know this, not just intellectually, but experientially, your entire relationship with life changes. You no longer feel like a victim of circumstances, buffeted about by the winds of fate. You recognize yourself as the author of your experience, as the creator of your reality. This recognition brings with it a profound sense of peace, a deep trust in the unfolding of life. For when you know that you are one with the creative power of the universe, what is there to fear? When you understand that all experiences, all circumstances are but reflections of your own consciousness, what is there to resist? In this state of inner silence, of deep trust, manifestation becomes effortless. You no longer need to struggle or strive to make things happen. You simply hold the image of your desire in your mind, feel it as real, and then release it, knowing that the infinite intelligence of the universe will bring it about in divine timing. This is the art of conscious creation, and it is born in silence. It is in the quiet of your mind that you can most clearly formulate your intentions, most vividly imagine your desired reality, and most deeply feel the emotion of your wish fulfilled. But remember, my friends, that the power of silence extends beyond individual manifestation. As you cultivate inner silence, as you align yourself with the creative power of the universe, you become a force for transformation in the world. You see, you are all connected, all part of the same universal consciousness. When you change your inner state, when you raise your vibration through the practice of silence, you contribute to the elevation of collective consciousness. You become a beacon of light, radiating peace and possibility to all those around you. This is how real change happens in the world, not through force or struggle, but through the silent revolution of consciousness. As more and more individuals awaken to their true nature, as more and more people cultivate the power of silence, we create a ripple effect that has the potential to transform our entire society, our entire world. Imagine a world where people are no longer driven by fear, greed, and the need for external validation. Imagine a world where each individual recognizes their inherent divinity, their innate power to create. This is the world we can create through the practice of silence. But it begins with you. It begins with your commitment to cultivate inner silence, to turn within and reconnect with your true self. It begins with your willingness to face your fears, to challenge your limiting beliefs, to imagine a greater possibility for your life and for the world. The journey into silence is not always easy. There will be times when the noise of the world seems overwhelming, when the chatter of your mind seems incessant. There will be moments of doubt, of frustration, of impatience. But I urge you, my dear friends, to persist. For in those moments of challenge lie the greatest opportunities for growth, for transformation. It is often in our darkest hours that we discover our greatest light. It is when we feel most lost that we are on the verge of finding ourselves. So I invite you here and now to make a commitment to silence. Commit to setting aside time each day to sit in quietude, to turn within and listen to the wisdom of your heart. Commit to observing your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions without judgment, simply witnessing them as they arise and pass away. As you do this, you will begin to notice subtle shifts in your perception. The world around you may appear brighter, more alive. You may find yourself responding to situations with greater calm, greater clarity. You may notice synchronicities and serendipities occurring more frequently in your life. These are all signs that you are aligning with the creative power of the universe. They are confirmations that you are on the right path, that your practice of silence is bearing fruit. But remember, the greatest confirmation, the truest measure of your progress, is the peace you feel within. It is the growing sense of connection to something greater than yourself, the deepening trust in the unfolding of life. As you continue on this path, as you deepen your practice of silence, you will discover that it becomes not just a practice, but a way of life. You will find yourself naturally turning within in moments of challenge or decision, naturally seeking the guidance of your inner wisdom. You will discover that you no longer need to force things to happen in your life. Instead, you will learn to flow with the current of life, to co-create with the universe in a dance of effortless manifestation. This, my dear friends, is the real truth of being silent. It is not about absence, but presence. It is not about emptiness, but fullness. It is about tapping into the infinite potential that lies within you, about aligning with the creative power of the universe. In silence, you discover that you are not separate from the source of all creation. You are that source expressing itself in human form. You are the universe experiencing itself through your unique perspective. And when you know this, when you live from this truth, your life becomes a joyous adventure of creation and self-discovery. You no longer feel bound by limitations or constrained by circumstances. You recognize that the only limits that exist are those you have accepted in your own mind. In silence, you have the power to transcend these self-imposed limitations. You have the power to reimagine yourself, to rewrite the story of your life. You have the power to create a life that is a true expression of your highest potential, your deepest desires. So I urge you, my dear friends, embrace the practice of silence. Make it a cornerstone of your daily life. For in doing so, you are not just transforming your own life, you are contributing to the transformation of our world. Every moment of silence, every instance of turning within, every act of conscious creation ripples out into the collective consciousness. It adds to the growing wave of awakening that is sweeping across our planet. You are part of this great awakening. Your commitment to silence, to inner transformation, is a vital contribution to the evolution of human consciousness. Never underestimate the power of your individual practice, for it is through the transformation of individuals that we transform the world. As you leave here today, I invite you to carry this message of silence with you. Let it be a constant reminder of your true nature, of your innate power to create. Let it inspire you to turn within, to seek the wisdom and guidance that resides in the silence of your own heart. Remember, the kingdom of heaven is within you. It is not something to be sought in the external world, but a state of consciousness to be realized through the practice of silence. It is your birthright, your true inheritance as a divine being having a human experience. So claim your birthright. Embrace the silence. Allow it to reveal to you the infinite potential that lies within. Allow it to guide you to the fulfillment of your deepest desires, to the realization of your highest purpose. For in the end, my dear friends, this is what the practice of silence offers: the opportunity to live a life of purpose, of passion, of deep fulfillment. It offers us the chance to become conscious co-creators with the divine, to play our unique part in the grand symphony of creation. This is the real truth of being silent. It is the key to unlocking the treasure house of your own being, to accessing the infinite wisdom and power that resides within you. It is the path to true freedom, true happiness, true self-realization. So go forth from here with a renewed commitment to silence. Make it your constant companion, your trusted guide on the journey of life. Let it lead you to the deepest truths of your being, to the fullest expression of your divine nature. And as you do, know that you are not alone on this journey. The same power that spins the galaxies, that orchestrates the dance of life, is within you, supporting you, guiding you every step of the way. Trust in this power. Surrender to it. Allow it to work through you, to express itself as you. For you are a divine being, a creative force in the universe. You have within you the power to shape your reality, to manifest your desires, to create a life of joy, abundance, and fulfillment. This is the promise of silence. This is the gift that awaits you in the quiet depths of your own being. Embrace it, my dear friends. Live it, be it. And in doing so, you will not only transform your own life, but you will contribute to the transformation of our world. You will become a beacon of light, a channel for divine expression, a living embodiment of the truth that lies at the heart of all creation. This is your calling. This is your destiny. This is the real truth of being silent. So let us go forth from here with renewed purpose, with deepened commitment to our inner journey. Let us embrace the power of silence, knowing that in its depths lie the keys to our freedom, our fulfillment, our ultimate realization. For in silence, we find our true selves. In silence, we connect with the divine. In silence, we become co-creators with the universe. This is the promise. This is the possibility. This is the truth. And it is available to each and every one of you here and now, in this very moment. So take a deep breath, my friends. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the silence that surrounds you, that permeates you. Feel the power that resides within you. And in this moment of stillness, of inner quiet, set your intention. Commit to making silence a part of your daily life. Commit to turning within, to listening to the wisdom of your heart, to aligning with the creative power of the universe. For in this commitment lies the seed of your transformation. In this decision to embrace silence lies the potential for a life beyond your wildest dreams. So step boldly into the silence, my friends. Step boldly into your power. Step boldly into the grand adventure of conscious creation that awaits you. For this is your birthright. This is your destiny. This is the real truth of being silent. And it is calling you home to yourself, to your true nature, to the infinite potential that lies within you. Answer the call, my friends. Embrace the silence and watch as your life transforms in miraculous ways. For in silence, all things are possible. In silence, you are infinite. In silence, you are free. This is the truth. This is the way. This is the life that awaits you. So go forth and be silent. Go forth and be powerful. Go forth and be the creator of magnificent reality. For this is who you truly are. This is what you came here to be. This is the real truth of being silent. And it is yours now and always to claim to live. Thank you, my dear friends. May the power of silence guide you, bless you, and transform you. May you realize the fullness of your divine nature and create a life that is a testament to the infinite potential that resides within you. Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And your journey into the transformative power of silence begins with this moment, with the decision to turn within and listen to the wisdom of your heart. So take that step, my friends. Embrace the silence and watch as the miracles unfold in your life. For this is the promise of silence. This is the gift that awaits you. This is the real truth of being silent. And it is yours now and forever to explore, to embody, to become. Go in peace, my friends. Go in power. Go in the knowing that you are divine beings, creators of your own reality, masters of your own destiny. For this is the truth that silence reveals. This is the reality that awaits you in the quiet depths of your own being. Embrace it, live it. For in doing so, you fulfill your highest purpose, you express your truest nature, you become who you were always meant to be. This is the invitation of silence. This is the promise of your own divine nature. This is the real truth of being silent. And it is calling you home to yourself, to your power, to your truth. Answer the call, my friends. Step into the silence and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. For in silence, all things are possible. In silence, you are infinite. In silence, you are free. This is the truth. This is the way. This is the life that awaits you. So go forth and be silent. Go forth and be powerful. Go forth and be the creator of your own magnificent reality. For this is who you truly are. This is what you came here to be. This is the real truth of being silent. And it is yours now and always to claim, to live, to be. Thank you. And may the power of silence guide you always. The universe is always listening. Here's how to make it work for you. But before we delve into this mystery, let me tell you that what I'm about to share isn't based on theories or second-hand knowledge. This is the law that I have tested and proven countless times. And I stand before you to declare that it never fails. Let me begin by telling you a fundamental truth. The universe isn't something separate from you, listening from afar. The universe is your own wonderful human imagination. When we say the universe is listening, we really mean that your consciousness, your I am, is recording and expressing every assumption you hold as true. Many of you come to me asking how to make the universe work for you, how to manifest your desires, how to achieve your goals. But I tell you this, the universe is already working perfectly, expressing with absolute precision every state you occupy in consciousness. It cannot do otherwise, for this is law. Think about this for a moment. Everything you're experiencing now, everything you see in your world, is the perfect expression of your past assumptions. The universe hasn't failed you. It has been faithfully reproducing the contents of your consciousness. If you don't like what you see, you must change your assumptions. Let me share with you a principle that few understand. The universe doesn't respond to your wishes. your hopes, or your prayers. It responds only to your assumptions. When you say, I want, the universe faithfully creates more wanting. When you say, I hope, the universe creates more hoping. But when you assume you already have what you desire, the universe must, and I emphasize, must provide the conditions, circumstances, and events that match your assumption. Your assumptions, whether conscious or unconscious, are the threads from which the fabric of your life is woven. During my years of teaching this law, I've seen countless individuals struggling to change their world while maintaining the same assumptions that created their current conditions. This is like trying to harvest wheat while continuously planting thorns. Let me share with you a profound secret about how the universe listens. It listens not to your words, not to your actions, but to the feeling with which you walk through your day. When you understand this, you will understand why two people can use the same technique, say the same words, perform the same actions, yet experience vastly different results. The universe, being your own wonderful human imagination, responds to what you feel as true. Not what you want to be true, not what you hope will be true, but what you accept as true in the depths of your being. This is why Scripture tells us, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Notice it says in his heart, not in his mind. Many of you come to these lectures seeking techniques, methods, ways to make the universe bend to your will. But I tell you this, there is no technique more powerful than your ability to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The universe cannot distinguish between what you imagine with feeling and what you experience in the outer world. Let me illustrate this with a simple truth. Right now, in this very moment, you are experiencing the outer picturing of what you once assumed to be true. Your current financial situation, your relationships, your health, your social status, all of these are nothing more than your past assumptions made visible. The universe is so faithful to your assumptions that it will keep you in poverty if you assume lack, keep you in illness if you assume disease, keep you in loneliness if you assume abandonment. Not because it wishes to punish you, but because it can only reproduce what you accept as true in consciousness. Here's a principle that many find hard to accept. The universe is not working against you, and it's not working for you. It's working from you. It is the perfect mirror of your conscious and unconscious assumptions. When you truly grasp this, you will stop trying to change things on the outside and begin the vital work of changing your assumptions. Changing your assumptions is not a matter of positive thinking or repeating affirmations. It's about occupying a new state of consciousness until it becomes your dwelling place. When I speak of a state, I mean a complete mental and emotional attitude about yourself and the world around you. Let me tell you something that few teachers will tell you. Your present state, the one that created your current circumstances, is just as much an assumed state as the one you desire to occupy. You weren't born assuming your current limitations. You learned to assume them through experience, through what others told you, through your interpretation of events. The universe, being your faithful servant, has been reproducing these assumptions in your outer world with perfect accuracy. If you assume you can't succeed in business, the universe provides experiences that confirm this. If you assume relationships always end badly, the universe arranges events to prove you right. If you assume money is hard to come by, the universe ensures that it is. But here is the liberating truth. You can step out of your current state into a new state at any moment. The universe doesn't care how long you've been poor or sick or lonely. It only responds to your present assumption. The moment you genuinely assume a new state, the universe begins rearranging itself to match your new assumption. Consider this. Right now, there are infinite states of consciousness available to you. States of wealth, states of health, states of love, states of success. These states already exist, complete and perfect. Your task is not to create these states, but to occupy them through your assumption. Let me share with you what I mean by occupying a state. If you were now in a state of wealth, how would you feel? How would you walk? How would you talk to yourself? What would your inner conversations be? How would you react to the news of economic downturn? Your answers reveal whether you're truly occupying the state or merely wishing for it. The universe listens to these subtle signals more than your conscious declarations. You may affirm wealth all day long, but if you react with fear to an unexpected bill, the universe responds to your fear, not your affirmations. This is why watching your reactions is crucial. They reveal your true state. Your reactions are the clearest indicator of the state you're truly occupying. When someone mentions economic difficulty, do you react from the state of abundance or the state of lack? When you see others succeeding, do you react from the state of someone who knows their own success is assured, or from the state of someone who feels left behind? Let me share with you a profound truth about reactions. They are automated responses based on your deeply held assumptions. The universe responds not to what you want your reactions to be, but to what they actually are. This is why monitoring your reactions is one of the most important practices in conscious creation. Consider this: a wealthy person doesn't react to money the same way a poor person does. A healthy person doesn't react to physical symptoms the same way a sick person does. A person who knows they are loved doesn't react to relationship challenges the same way a person who assumes they are unlovable does. Your reactions reveal your state. But here's the wonderful news: you can change your reactions by changing the state from which they spring. When you truly occupy a new state, your reactions change automatically. You don't have to think about how to react. The new state reacts through you. This is why forcing new reactions doesn't work. You must change the state that produces the reactions. The universe is listening to these spontaneous reactions far more than your conscious intentions. When you understand this, you'll stop trying to control your reactions and instead focus on occupying the state that naturally produces the reactions you desire. Let me give you an example from my own experience. When I first began teaching this law, I would sometimes worry about having enough material for my lectures. But as I occupied the state of being an accomplished teacher, those worries disappeared. Not because I forced them away, but because they couldn't exist in my new state. The universe responded by continuously providing new insights and examples to share. Your reactions are like ripples on the surface of a pond, revealing the movements in the depths of your consciousness. During the day, watch your reactions carefully. They will show you which state you're actually occupying, regardless of which state you think you're occupying. Recognizing and changing your state is the most important work you can do. For your state of consciousness is the only reality. Everything else, your circumstances, your relationships, your finances, these are merely shadows cast by your state. Let me explain what I mean by a state, for this is crucial to your understanding. A state is not merely a mood or a temporary feeling. A state is the sum total of all your assumptions about yourself and the world. It's the mental and emotional dwelling place from which you view and experience life. Just as your physical home determines what you see when you look out its windows, your state determines what you experience in your world. The universe, being your own wonderful human imagination externalized, cannot give you what you want. It can only give you what your state dictates. This is why wanting something actually keeps it at a distance. The state of wanting can only produce more wanting. The universe doesn't respond to your desires, it responds to your state. Let me share with you a principle that many find hard to accept. You are already in the state of having everything you desire. Every possible state exists now. The state of wealth, the state of perfect health, the state of fulfilling relationships. These aren't states you need to create. They're states you need to occupy. Think of it like this in your physical world. All the radio and television broadcasts exist simultaneously in your room right now. But you only experience the broadcast to which your receiver is tuned. Similarly, all states exist now in your consciousness, but you only experience the state to which you are tuned through your assumptions. The universe isn't withholding anything from you. It's faithfully broadcasting back to you the state you're occupying. If you're experiencing lack, it's because you're tuned to the state of lack. If you're experiencing illness, you're tuned to the state of illness. The universe can only play back what you're broadcasting through your state. Here's a profound truth. You can't experience what you desire while remaining in the state that doesn't include its fulfillment. You must shift your entire consciousness to the state where your desire is already fulfilled. This is what Scripture means by putting off the old man and putting on the new. Shifting your state of consciousness is not a matter of willpower or positive thinking. It's about assuming the natural feeling of already being what you desire to be. When you understand this, manifestation becomes effortless because you're no longer trying to make something happen. You're simply expressing what already is in your assumed state. Let me share with you what I mean by the natural feeling. If you were now the person you desire to be, how would you feel? Not emotionally excited, but naturally feel. If you were now wealthy, how would you naturally feel about money? If you were now in perfect health, how would you naturally feel about your body? These natural feelings are the key to shifting your state. Many of you make the mistake of trying to feel excited about your desire. But excitement implies that something is new or unusual. The universe responds not to excitement, but to the natural, familiar feeling of already being what you desire to be. When something is truly yours, you don't get excited about having it, you simply feel it as natural. Consider this, you don't get excited about having your name, do you? You don't wake up thrilled about being who you are. It feels natural, normal, ordinary. This is the feeling you must capture about your desire. The universe responds to what feels natural to you, not to what feels exciting or extraordinary. Let me tell you something about the universe's response to your state. It cannot distinguish between what you assume to be true and what is actually true in the outer world. To the universe, your assumptions are the only reality. This is why Scripture tells us that all things are possible to him that believeth. Your current state might be one of limitation, but remember you assumed your way into that state, and you can assume your way out of it. The universe has no choice but to reflect whatever state you occupy. It's not punishing you with your current circumstances. It's faithfully reflecting your assumed state. Here's a profound secret about shifting states. You don't need to know how the shift will be accomplished in the outer world. Your only task is to occupy the new state in consciousness. The universe, which is your own wonderful human imagination pushed out, will rearrange circumstances, events, and people to match your new state. The universe rearranges itself in ways that our logical minds could never conceive. When you shift to a new state, you don't need to manipulate external circumstances. The external must conform to your internal state. This is law. The universe will bring about the conditions, people, and events that correspond to your new state in ways that will seem miraculous. Let me share with you a principle that few understand. Time is not a factor in the manifestation of your desire. What matters is not the passage of time, but the intensity of your conviction in the new state. The universe doesn't need time to rearrange itself. It only needs your unwavering assumption of the new state. Many of you ask how long it will take for your desire to manifest. But I tell you this, time is a feature of the outer world, not of consciousness. In consciousness, where all creation takes place, there is no time. The moment you completely accept your desires fulfilled in consciousness, the universe begins its work of bringing it into visibility. Consider this: when you plant a seed in fertile soil, you don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You know that by law it must grow. Similarly, when you plant an assumption in consciousness, you must allow it to take root and grow by its own law. The universe knows how to bring it forth. Your task is to maintain the state that implies its fulfillment. Let me tell you something about the universe's response to your state. It responds not to your sporadic thoughts or occasional affirmations, but to your sustained assumption. If you assume wealth for an hour, but spend the rest of the day conscious of lack, the universe responds to your predominant state of lack. This is why persistence in your new state is crucial. You must learn to sleep in your new state, to walk in your new state, to breathe in your new state. Every moment that you can maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled, the universe is rearranging itself to bring about the conditions that match your assumption. Here's a profound truth about the universe's response. It doesn't respond to what you think you deserve or what others think you deserve. It responds solely to what you assume to be true. If you can assume a state and maintain that assumption, the universe must, and I emphasize must, provide the conditions that match your assumption. Maintaining your assumption is not a matter of mental effort, but a faithful occupancy of your new state. Just as you don't need effort to occupy your physical home, you don't need effort to occupy your desired state once you truly move into it. The key is to make your new state your permanent dwelling place in consciousness. Let me share with you what I mean by faithful occupancy. When you live in a physical home, you don't constantly remind yourself that it's your home. You simply live there naturally. You wake up there, you sleep there, you go about your daily activities there. This is how you must live in your new state of consciousness. Many of you make the mistake of visiting your desired state like a tourist, spending a few moments there through apparitions or visualization, then returning to your old state. But I tell you this, you must pack up and move permanently into your new state. You must establish residency there in your imagination. Consider this, everything you're experiencing now was once just an assumption you held. Your current financial situation, your relationships, your health, all of these were first established in your imagination through your tune. The universe has been faithfully reflecting these assumptions back to you. When you understand this, you realize that maintaining your new assumption is not about forcing yourself to think certain thoughts. It's about becoming so convinced of your new state that contrary thoughts become impossible to entertain. Just as you can't convince yourself that 2 + 2 = 5, you become unable to accept any evidence that contradicts your new state. Let me tell you something vital about maintaining your assumption. Your outer world will not immediately reflect your new state. There will be a time lag between your assumption and its physical manifestation. During this interval, you must maintain your assumption despite any contrary evidence. This is where most people falter. They look at the outer world, see no change, and abandon their assumption. But I tell you this, the outer world is nothing more than a shadow of past assumptions. It has no power to prevent the manifestation of your new assumption, unless you give it that power by abandoning your new state. Persisting despite contrary evidence is the mark of true mastery in consciousness. The outer world will continue to reflect your old assumptions for a time. This is law. But I tell you this, these reflections have no power except the power you give them through your reaction to them. When you understand that your three-dimensional world is merely the shadow of your consciousness, you cease to be moved by appearances. Would you be frightened by your shadow on the wall? Of course not, because you know it's just a shadow. Similarly, your current circumstances are just shadows of past assumptions, powerless to affect your new state unless you grant them power. Let me share with you a principle that has proven itself countless times. The outer world must conform to your inner assumption, but it will test your conviction first. When you assume a new state, the universe will present you with evidence that seems to contradict your assumption. This is not to discourage you. It's to strengthen your resolve. Consider this. When you plant a seed in the ground, the soil above it must crack and break before the plant emerges. Similarly, when you plant a new assumption in consciousness, the old conditions must break up before the new can emerge. These apparent contradictions are not denials of your assumption. They are signs that your old world is breaking up to make way for the new. Many of you abandon your assumption at the first sign of contradiction. But I tell you this, those very contradictions, if you persist through them, become the foundation stones of your new reality. Every seeming denial, when you maintain your assumption in spite of it, becomes proof of your power to create. Let me tell you something about persistence that few understand. You don't persist by fighting against current conditions. You persist by remaining so centered in your new state that current conditions become irrelevant. Just as the sun doesn't fight against darkness, it simply shines. You don't fight against current circumstances. You simply maintain the light of your new assumption. The depth of your conviction is the measure of your success in manifesting your desires. When your conviction in your new state reaches the point where you can no longer conceive of its opposite, that is when manifestation becomes inevitable. Remember this, the universe is not something outside of you that needs to be convinced. It is your own wonderful human imagination pushed out into space. Therefore, the depth of your conviction is actually the degree to which you have convinced yourself, not some external power. Let me leave you with these final truths about working with the universe. First, know that the universe is always listening, because it is your own consciousness externalized. Second, understand that it responds not to your wishes, but to your convictions. Third, realize that your task is not to make something happen, but to assume the state where it has already happened. The power you seek is already within you. The state you desire already exists. The wealth, the health, the love, the success, all are present now in consciousness. Your work is not to create them, but to assume them into expression through your conviction. When you walk out of here tonight, remember this: you are not going out to face a hostile universe that needs to be conquered. You are going out to experience your own consciousness made visible. Everything you will encounter is yourself pushed out. Every person, every circumstance, every event is your consciousness externalized. Therefore, assume the best about yourself, for in doing so, you're assuming the best about your world. The universe cannot give you more than you assume for yourself. It cannot give you less than you assume for yourself. It can only and must give you exactly what you assume. Go forth now in this knowledge. Test it. Prove it in the laboratory of daily life. For I tell you this with absolute conviction: the universe is always listening, and it has no choice but to mold itself according to your assumptions. That is the law. And the law never fails. The choice is yours now. You can continue to accept your present assumptions and experience their reflections, or you can assume a new state and watch as the universe rearranges itself to match your new assumption. The power is yours, the choice is yours, and the universe awaits your decision. For consciousness is the only reality, and what you assume as true in consciousness must and will become true in your world. That is the law. That is the promise. And that is the power that makes the universe work for you.